In September 2025, the iconic United Nations headquarters in New York City stood as a beacon of hope and anticipation. The world's attention was fixed on this towering building, its facade lined with the flags of every nation, each one representing a voice in the global conversation. The air was thick with expectation as the international community prepared for a gathering that would shape the course of history. Diplomats and dignitaries from across the globe arrived, their faces set with determination and concern. The United Nations was about to host a pivotal meeting focused on the ongoing Gaza conflict, a crisis that had captured headlines and hearts worldwide. The corridors buzzed with hurried footsteps and whispered conversations as delegates prepared for what many called the most consequential summit in recent memory. The 80th session of the UN General Assembly was unlike any before it. World leaders representing nations both large and small gathered in the Grand Assembly Hall, each bringing their own perspectives and hopes for peace. The escalating violence and deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza had reached a tipping point, demanding urgent and unified action from the international community. President Donald Trump, recognizing the gravity of the situation, took the unprecedented step of convening this emergency meeting. He extended invitations to key Western allies and influential Middle Eastern leaders, urging them to set aside long-standing differences and work together. The goal was clear: to forge a path toward peace, stability, and relief for the millions affected by the conflict. Inside the conference rooms, the atmosphere was tense and charged with urgency. This was no ordinary diplomatic gathering. It was a last-ditch effort to halt the suffering, to prevent further loss of life, and to restore a sense of hope to a region in turmoil. Every gesture, every word carried immense weight as the world watched and waited for a breakthrough. Outside, the press and media from every corner of the globe gathered, broadcasting live updates and capturing the gravity of the moment. As leaders took their seats in the assembly, the world held its breath, aware that the decisions made here could alter the fate of millions. The setting of the United Nations itself underscored the immense power of diplomacy. Here, in these hallowed halls, nations had come together before to resolve crises and build a better future. Now, once again, the hope for international cooperation and collective action was palpable. For this moment, political rivalries and historical grievances were set aside. Leaders from diverse backgrounds and ideologies sat shoulder to shoulder, united by a common purpose: to pursue a historic push for peace in the Middle East. The world watched, yearning for a sign that dialogue and understanding could triumph over violence and division. The stakes had never been higher. With the eyes of the world upon them, the leaders gathered at the United Nations faced a defining test of their resolve, compassion, and commitment to peace. The meeting brought together an extraordinary assembly of global leaders, each representing not only their nations, but also the hopes and concerns of millions. In a world often marked by division and discord, this summit stood out as a rare opportunity for dialogue and collaboration. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as delegates from across continents gathered to address one of the most pressing crises of our time. Each leader arrived with their own unique perspective, shaped by their country's history, culture, and geopolitical interests. The diversity of voices at the table was both a challenge and a strength, offering a mosaic of ideas and potential solutions. President Trump's presence underscored the United States' enduring influence on the world stage. His leadership style, often bold and direct, set the tone for the American delegation, emphasizing the U.S.'s pivotal role in shaping international policy and mediating global conflicts. Meanwhile, President Prabowo Subianto of Indonesia emerged as a powerful advocate for peace and stability. Representing the world's largest Muslim-majority nation, his voice carried significant weight, calling for dialogue, mutual respect, and a commitment to nonviolence. The summit also saw the participation of key Middle Eastern leaders: Qatar's Emir, Jordan's king, Turkey's president, and Pakistan's prime minister. Their presence was a testament to the region's deep investment in finding a lasting solution, as they brought first-hand knowledge of the complexities and sensitivities involved. These leaders engaged in intense discussions, sharing their perspectives on the roots of the conflict and the urgent need for a comprehensive peace process. Their willingness to engage in open dialogue reflected a shared understanding that regional stability could only be achieved through cooperation. Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia also sent high-ranking officials, further highlighting the gravity of the situation. Their involvement signaled a unified front among some of the most influential Arab states, determined to play a constructive role in the peace process. The stakes were high and the discussions were often tense as leaders grappled with difficult questions and competing interests. Yet, the shared sense of urgency was unmistakable, driving participants to seek common ground despite their differences. The collective presence of these influential figures marked a rare moment of unity among nations that are frequently divided by politics, ideology, and history. For a brief moment, old rivalries were set aside in pursuit of a greater good. This gathering was more than just another diplomatic event. It was a powerful convergence of global willpower, determination, and hope. The world watched as leaders debated, negotiated, and ultimately sought a path forward together. The message that emerged was unmistakable. Achieving peace in the Middle East would require not only regional cooperation, but also the steadfast commitment of the international community. Only through unity and shared purpose could lasting change be achieved. As the world's media captured every moment, the eyes of millions were fixed on the summit, waiting to see if this unprecedented gathering of leaders could turn hope into reality. The mission was clear: end the Gaza conflict, free the hostages, and lay the foundation for lasting peace. The war's toll was devastating, and the need for a coordinated ceasefire was urgent. Leaders agreed. A ceasefire and hostage release were essential first steps. Long-term, they discussed a two-state solution and international support for Gaza's reconstruction. The meeting showed that diplomacy, not force, could break the cycle of violence. By uniting, these leaders offered hope to millions caught in the conflict. The world waited for action, not just words. President Trump opened with a bold promise: "We want to end the war in Gaza." These words, delivered with conviction at a high-profile international summit, set the tone for what would become a defining moment in his presidency. The world watched as Trump took the stage, aware that the conflict in Gaza had caused immense suffering and instability, not just in the region, but across the globe. His statement was not just a diplomatic gesture, it was a declaration of intent, signaling a new chapter in American foreign policy. "We will end it." With these words, President Trump made it clear that the United States would not be a passive observer. His pledge was more than words. It was a call for concrete action and U.S. leadership. Trump's administration had already been working behind the scenes, engaging with allies and adversaries alike, to lay the groundwork for a ceasefire. The president's announcement was a culmination of weeks of intense diplomatic efforts, reflecting his belief that peace was not only possible, but necessary. Trump pressed for a ceasefire and the release of hostages, making clear the U.S. would not stand by. He emphasized the importance of immediate humanitarian relief, urging all parties to prioritize the safety and well-being of civilians. Behind closed doors, Trump and his team worked tirelessly, coordinating with international partners to broker agreements and build trust among deeply divided factions. His approach was direct and uncompromising, yet he remained open to dialogue, understanding that lasting peace required cooperation from all sides. His resolve inspired confidence among the assembled leaders. Many had grown weary of empty promises and stalled negotiations, but Trump's determination brought a renewed sense of hope. Delegates from across the world listened intently, recognizing that the United States was prepared to lead by example. The atmosphere in the room shifted, as leaders began to see a path forward where once there had been only deadlock and despair. Trump's closing remarks, "We're going to end something that should never have happened," captured the urgency and gravity of the moment. He spoke not only as a president, but as a global citizen, acknowledging the pain and loss experienced by countless families. His words resonated deeply, reminding everyone present that peace was not just a political objective, but a moral imperative. His leadership galvanized the group, turning promises into a plan. Trump encouraged open dialogue, inviting input from all nations represented. He stressed the importance of unity and collaboration, knowing that only a collective effort could bring about real change. The discussions that followed were marked by a new sense of urgency and purpose, as leaders worked together to outline actionable steps toward a sustainable peace. The meeting's momentum owed much to Trump's ability to unite diverse voices. He bridged divides, encouraging adversaries to find common ground and reminding allies of their shared responsibility. The summit became a symbol of what could be achieved when nations put aside their differences for the greater good. Trump's commitment to peace inspired others to follow suit, creating a ripple effect that extended far beyond the conference room. It was a turning point in the quest for peace, a moment when hope was rekindled, and the world saw that determined leadership could make a difference. President Trump's unwavering resolve and willingness to act set a powerful example, reminding us all that even the most entrenched conflicts can be overcome with courage, vision, and unity. Middle Eastern leaders voiced strong support for Trump's initiative. Qatar's Emir declared, "We're here to stop the war and bring the hostages home. We're counting on your leadership." King Abdullah of Jordan and leaders from Turkey, Pakistan, and Egypt echoed the call for unity and urgent action. Many pledged humanitarian aid and reconstruction support for Gaza. Their trust in U.S. leadership was crucial for building international consensus. This show of regional solidarity marked a new chapter in cooperation. The meeting's success hinged on this unprecedented alignment. Indonesia, led by President Prabowo, emerged as a key player. Prabowo pledged up to 20,000 peacekeepers for Gaza under a UN mandate, a bold offer welcomed by all. Indonesia also committed to supporting Gaza's reconstruction, emphasizing the need for global cooperation. These actions demonstrated Indonesia's dedication to peace, not just in words, but in deeds. The country's leadership underscored the power of international collaboration. Indonesia's contributions were vital to the meeting's progress. This UN meeting marked a diplomatic breakthrough for Middle East peace. Leaders agreed on a ceasefire and hostage release as immediate priorities. They also revived talks on a two-state solution, aiming for long-term stability. The spirit of unity and collaboration was as important as the agreements themselves. The meeting proved that even the toughest conflicts can yield to determined diplomacy. For those suffering in Gaza, it was a rare beacon of hope. The world saw what's possible when leaders work together. The UN gathering was a testament to hope and the power of collaboration. Leaders set aside differences, united by a vision for peace and urgent humanitarian action. Their unity sent a message: collective action can drive real change. The meeting's legacy was not just in agreements, but in the spirit of cooperation it fostered. For Gaza and beyond, it was a reminder that diplomacy can triumph over division. The world left the meeting with renewed optimism. While the meeting was a breakthrough, the journey to peace is far from over. Gaza's crisis is just one of many challenges demanding sustained global attention. Leaders recognize that ongoing dialogue and action are essential for lasting stability. The meeting underscored the need for continued international cooperation. Hope and collaboration must persist beyond the headlines. The quest for peace continues, one step at a time.